In this video, I want to introduce this new line visualization tool that I've built. So before we get into the details about it, I want to just show you where you can find it. So if you go to my website, hockey-statistics.com, you can go to the 22-23 tab here, and you can just click on the very first visualization, the line visualization one. But I've already opened it, so this is what it looks like. So in this visualization, you have three overall dashboards or three overall tabs. And the line visualization one is this one, and it allows you to really dig deep into one specific question or really go deep into a specific line. Now, the other ones are more meant to rank lines and compare lines together. So we'll just start with those ones. So this is the forward line tab. So in this one, I've just set the requirements to be only looking at 5-on-5 data, and each line has to have played at least 200 minutes together. So then you can rank the forward lines based on the expected goals for percentage. That is how it's ranked here. But you could even rank them by how many goals are they scoring compared to their opponents, or you can rank them by time on ice. So you can see here that Jason Robertson, Rupert Hintz, and Joe Pavelski is the line that has played the most 5-on-5 minutes together. So this tab is used to compare forward lines. How are they performing compared to other forward lines? And it's the exact same thing with the defensive pairs. Now the minimum requirement is 300 minutes played together, but otherwise it's the same thing. You can rank by expected goals for percentage, or you could rank by something else like time on ice. So we see here that Vince Dunn with Adam Larsson is the defensive pairing with the most minutes played together at 5-on-5. Or you could rank by goals for instance, or something like that. Yeah, like that. So that's how these two tabs work. But the more interesting one is the line visualization tool. So in this one, you can select up to 3 players, and then it will show the results with those 3 players on the ice together. It doesn't have to be 3 forwards, or it can be goaltenders or defenders, any kind of combination of 3 players on the same time, and it will show the results for them playing together in the 22-23 season. So let's just start off by clearing all selections. So if you click on the icon just above the drop-down list, you can clear the selection. So in this case, when no players are selected, it will just show the team statistics for Toronto Maple Leafs. So obviously they played 82 regular season games and a total of almost 4,000 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey. And then you can see the Corsi for percentage, expected goals for percentage, the goals for percentage. And over here you can see the totals. So the blue one indicate Corsi for the total shot attempts. And the red one shows the Corsi against, total shot attempts against. Same for expected goals for blue, expected goals against red, and goals for blue, goals against red. So this is only 5-on-5. You could obviously change the strength state as well. The final 4 cards down here show the goaltending and shooting stats. So goals scored above expected at -5, meaning that the actual goals for is lower than the expected goals for. The goals saved above expected, meaning the goaltender stat, is positive 14. So expected goals against is higher than the actual goals against. And you can see the shooting percentage, and save percentage. All of this stats is always from the perspective of the Toronto Maple Leafs or the selected team, but in this case, it's Toronto. So more interestingly, we can select a player. So if we select Austin Matthews, for instance, then it shows the team statistics when Austin Matthews is on the ice. Don't want to go into detail about the stats, but one other thing you can do is you can click on a opponent forward. So these are ranked based on how much ice time they have against the selected players. So in this case, you can see that Martinook, Fast, and Stahl is the most common line playing against Austin Matthews. So there's a good chance that Carolina matches this specific line against the Austin Matthews line. Now we can even click on that line and then we'll see the results for Austin Matthews playing against that specific line. So you can see here that Matthews has had pretty good success in terms of Corsi for and expected goals for, but is actually trailing 0-1 in terms of actual goals for against that specific line. So this is how you can use the first on-ice tab here. It will show the team statistics with the selected players on the ice. So if we select another player, we could select, say, Mitch Marner. Then we'll show how much ice time do Matthews and Marner have together at 5-on-5 in the regular season, and it shows 539 minutes. So Austin Matthews is playing almost half of his 5-on-5 ice time with Mitch Marner. So it will show the results in terms of Corsi for percentage, expected goals for percentage, and all of those things. But we can also go to the with or without you tab to go more into details. So now we can see the results for Austin Matthews with Mitch Marner. And we can see the results for Austin Matthews in total. So it doesn't matter if it's with Mitch Marner or with anyone else. So a few interesting things we can see from this. So first of all, Matthews only has 18 points at 5-on-5 when playing with Mitch Marner. That's actually quite low compared to his total 51 points. On the other hand, the play driving stats are really high, 55.4, 59.8. So his play driving is better when playing with Mitch Marner, but the actual goals for is actually somewhat lower. So the results are better when not playing with Marner, but the underlying stats, the Corsi for the expected goals for is higher, is better when playing with Marner. On the other hand, we see Mitch Marner, his stats, so he has 11 goals playing with Matthews out of a total of 14 goals. So almost all of Marner's goals have come when playing with Matthews. And you can see that here with a 22% shooting percentage. So that's likely not going to continue in the future. Now, finally, we can see, because we haven't selected any third players, it will just show the team stats. So here we see the team stats with Matthews and Marner, and all the individual individual stats are just defined to be 0 because no specific player is selected. So we can still see the percentages for Toronto playing when Matthews and Marner are on the ice together compared to the percentages when anyone is on the ice. So this is the team stats in total, just how Toronto is performing, and this is how Toronto is performing with Matthews and Marner on the ice. Obviously, you can select another player, so we could compare it to, say, William Nylander. And without going too much into detail, we can see here that Austin Matthews, when he's playing with Nylander, he has about 500 minutes, so it's comparable to the ice time playing with Mana. But a few things are interesting. So we see that the play driving stats, Corsi for percentage, expected goals for percentage, is lower playing with Nylander compared to what it was when playing with the Mana. But the actual results, the goals for percentage, is significantly higher. So the results have been better for Matthews when he's played with Nylander, but the underlying numbers have been lower. So in the future, it's more likely that he'll perform great with Mana than it is he'll perform great with Nylander. Anyway, the stats are still quite good, but a 73% goals for percentage is probably not sustainable. So this is how you can use the tool. You could obviously select the third player as well. So we could select, I don't know, Michael Bunting. They're playing a lot together. So we could select Michael Bunting and then also show the results for Austin Matthews with both Nylander and Bunting on the ice. So now it's down to 383 minutes. The final thing I want to show here is that you can even select more than one player. So if we go to this drop-down list and hit Control and Mitch Mana, then it will show Austin Matthews results when he's playing with either Nylander or Mana. So we can see here that he has more than 1,000 minutes of 5-on-5 ice time with either Mana or Nylander. So Matthews is almost always playing with either the one or the other. So it's just a different option now. The visualization is not necessarily designed to select more than one, so we'll just show all down here, even though it's just two players selected. But this is how the visualization works. So we can just go back to the on-ice stats here. And obviously you can change the string state. So ENF stands for empty net for, ENA stands for empty net against. So if we select empty net against, we could go to with or without you tab, and we can see that Austin Matthews has 1 goal against an empty net. Now, just one thing you need to be aware of when you select the empty net selections over here is that my XG model does not include empty net situations. So the XG values will always be 0 if an empty net is selected. But you could also look at 5-on-4 stats. So this is how is Austin Matthews, or how is Toronto Maple Leafs performing with Austin Matthews on the power play. So for instance, you can see here that in total, Toronto Maple Leafs has played 264 minutes with Matthews on the power play, out of a total of 395 minutes of 5-on-4 power play time. Yeah, so I think that's it. Make sure to check out the visualizations. You can really dig deep and find out very specific storylines